Hi, this is Rod Saunders from Jew and Greek. As you may recall, a while back I crashed a Q&A session with Justin Peters and Andrew Rappaport, and I asked JP for the source for his claim that Benny Hinn has conjured up the ghost of Catherine Kuhlman to get instructions for his ministry. At the time, he couldn't recall for certain, but he said he thought that it was from Benny Hinn's book, Good Morning, Holy Spirit. So I bought a copy of the book and read it through, and there was nothing about conjuring up Miss Kuhlman's ghost in it. So I mentioned that in a video back in May. Well, I've heard from JP recently, and he provided me with the source, along with his explanation that it was in his master's thesis and it's been 20 years since he wrote it, and that's why he couldn't recall the source off the top of his head when I asked for it. Fair enough. But the problem here is that the source doesn't provide any evidence of necromancy. Here's what it says. Documenting Benny Hinn's necromancy and encounters with the dead. Okay, that's the claim in the article's title, but as you read through the article, there's nothing said about Benny Hinn conjuring up any ghosts. He recalled a vision and a dream where he saw Catherine Kuhlman. That's not necromancy. Necromancy is when you intentionally summon up a deceased person to get information from beyond. What Benny Hinn described was not something he brought about. Seeing a dead person in a dream isn't necromancy. My dad passed away 3 years ago, and I've had several dreams about him. Most of us have had dreams like that. That's not necromancy. When I did my video of Spencer Smith a couple of months ago, I showed where he was accusing Bethel Church of practicing necromancy when they prayed for God to raise a little girl from the dead. That's also not necromancy. What is it with these guys? I think maybe I need to write a book called Necromancy for Dummies and market it to Southern heretic hunters. Let me say this again for the record. I'm not a fan of Benny Hinn, but I am a fan of the truth. What Justin Peters claimed in that video is simply not true, and unless he can come up with some actual evidence to support his claim, he needs to retract it and issue an apology to Benny Hinn. I know you may think I lost my mind, but the Lord said, Elijah the prophet. 7.5 years ago, just before the ministry started, before these crusades began, suddenly in front of me, I saw a group of people. I couldn't even tell you who they were. I recognized only one of them. It was Miss Kuhlman, and every one of them seemed to be urging me to pray. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but it's all right. I don't mind if you call me crazy because I liked what I saw. And this group was saying, now, I couldn't hear them. I'd been in prayer at least hours, and suddenly, just this flash came in front of me. I cannot describe it to you except to tell you it was more real than you sitting right in front of me right here. It was not a mental thing. It was so alive, Pastor. It's so alive. It was like a flash of lightning hit me.